And we are live. My name is Nico Lagan, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host, Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. So we are the Political Orphans. Make sure to like this video, and as always, we want to hear from you. So leave us a comment below. Here are the top stories of the day. Canada Post is on strike again. The Liberals are set to introduce a new online harms bill. Yes, a new bill C-63. Find out why a Muslim charity is suing a church. And at 9:30, we are joined by Jason from Wiretap Media to speak about the anti-hate network. Get your comments ready because the show starts now. What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother? How? Yeah, that should be a good show. Kind of a slow news day, right? But I'm interested to see this interview.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because I don't know if you know anything about the about what the anti-hate network is, but
yeah, just what he's talked about the other day. It's pretty concerning.
Yeah, and the reason it's concerning is because the reason I reached out to him is because of Blacklock's post that they made. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. They made it a few days ago. Where the hell is it? I'm on their page right now. It's basically, did you know the woman that is there to help Muslims, like Islamophobia?
Yeah, like is she government?
Yeah, she works for the government.
Oh yeah, you should probably address just let everyone know everything's fine because I think people were worried.
Oh,
about,
yes.
I didn't say I didn't know anything. I just said it's precautionary. I think. But I didn't know. I think people were concerned. So.
Yes, thank you for asking. It's the baby was going crazy yesterday. He's 2.5 months old, and he was screaming for an hour and a half. He was blue in the face, so my wife was worried. And,
well, yeah, that's worrying. Sometimes though, babies are just retarded though, right? Like sometimes they just scream and cry and knock themselves out. And
it was one of those. But I used to do colics as a child, like myself.
Like you were colicky?
Yeah, and I would have severe cases of it, and I would go ballistic too, supposedly. So my mom said that she would just put me in a car.
Yeah,
and drive me around. And
so that ended up working?
Yeah, she was like the son was just going crazy, and we do have some of this too, the grip water, and he just he ended up we ended up going for, like, she wanted to go to a hospital, and we ended up just driving him around for like half an hour. He knocked out completely. It took me about an hour and a half to put him to bed. It took me so long to put him to bed. I had to feed him so that he would go to bed. Like, I'm trying to put him to bed and everything's waking him up, so I have to feed him, put him to bed, but he was fine. Like, it just took forever.
Yeah, it's sometimes it happens, but yeah, it's good that it worked out. Obviously, it was no big deal, but I think, I was saying last night, definitely better safe than sorry on that kind of stuff.
Agreed, and I think because it's our first,
you probably a little bit overcautious maybe, and that's reasonable too.
So thank you for asking. I was the same way. Mother put me outside. Yeah, I don't think my wife would appreciate that. Hey, you, out. Just dumping in the backyard in his carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think my neighbor would like that either. So yeah, thank you for asking. This is what I would.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's fine. Wait till number 8. You'll feel much. Oh, Jesus. Wait until baby number 8. My wife is sitting right there on the couch and I'm looking at her. Baby number 8. She's like, she's breastfeeding right now. She's like, yeah, no.
No. You better have 7 more wives then lined up.
Yeah, she's not okay with that either.
Yeah, so it's just a hard no.
Rob is like, you better have 7 more wives line up. I'm like, she's
no,
not.
I was saying that's what she was saying. She's like, and if you do, I'm gonna kill you. So
yeah, that's not happening no matter what. So it's but we'd like to have another one. Like, she'd like to have a daughter, obviously.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. To me, man, I still would like to have, like, so I have one, but he's 16. I was a kid when we had him. I just feel like I'd be in a much better place now to raise kids than, I mean, I was like 21 myself, right? Certainly it would not, I mean, obviously now that he's here, I wouldn't have it any other way, but if I could,
is he there? Advice, is he there?
No. I mean, here in my life, I wouldn't have it any other way. But you know, I don't think that was the ideal scenario to have a kid. And if I was giving advice to a 21-year-old, I would say, yeah, don't have a kid with your girlfriend.
If you want
to get married at 21, sure, but
it depends on the type of individual. Because, man, down in Alabama, bro, they're married, 17, 18 years old, they're married, and they start having kids, but it's totally normal. Like, they're all around kids, they have bigger families, so to them it's just normal. But the average level of maturity here, I know when I was in my 20s, I shouldn't have. I'm happy I didn't have kids in my 20s, because there's no way in hell I was mature enough for that. I'm happy I'm my age.
Yeah. I just feel like I think I did a pretty good job, but like I just feel like I'd be in much better position. I'm more of a complete person.
A man person.
Well, man / person. I don't know. A complete person. I don't know.
Okay, they, them.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm more of a man person.
Zzier. I'm
a zer.
I'm a zer. I'm a more complete zer.
See, I think that's what we need to do to Rob, Jim. Dude, I screamed. Even the babysitter put me outside. Yeah, we should put him outside too.
Nah, bro.
I think Rob is due to be outside.
I don't go outside, bro.
Yeah, we can tell by the color of your skin, pasty white.
I don't know what happened to light. It's like so orange, right? It's not even white. It's orange.
Oh, you're going for the Trump look.
No, the best clean coal, the best.
The
beautiful
best clean. I love it. I absolutely love that. Beautiful, clean, blue, beautiful and clean.
I was watching this clip today, and he was sitting with the president of Turkey, Erdogan, and he said something like, they're talking about rigged elections. Like, and he looks at Erdogan and he says, yeah, you know something, or this guy knows something a little about rigged elections, like slaps him on the back, and then goes back to telling his story. And it's hilarious. Like, think of, like, he's a funny guy, man. Whatever you want to say about him, like, imagine that. Like, what other world leader would do that? This guy knows about rigged elections, but because Erdogan rigs his elections, right? Like, he actually does rig elections. The look on his face, he's like, Donnie, bro, like, what are you doing, man?
Was it the president or was it the?
No, it was Turkey. I actually
no. That's not why. Is because I'm trying to see if it's a prime minister of France or the last. Shit. There is either a president or a prime minister of France that is going to jail for 5 years, and I think it had to do with taking part of rigging an election. So that's why I think Trump said that. It's because he's kind of, like your buddy got caught. It's beautiful. Like he's kind of rubbing it in there.
Yeah.
I just can't remember. What his name was. Nicolas Sarkozy.
Oh, Sarkozy. Yeah. The guy before Macron.
Yes, so
yeah.
Hold on. I believe that it has to do, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think it had to do, was it in Libya? Oh no, it wasn't Turkey. It was Libya, but Nicolas Sarkozy is sentenced to 5 years in Libya campaign after being found guilty of criminal conspiracy. So I thought it was Turkey. Nah. Not enough sleep, but yeah, hey, it's funny. an old president. Was it president? No, yeah, president. The old president of France is going to jail for 5 years for corruption. Hey,
Really?
yeah.
Fuck. I mean, I feel like European presidents and prime ministers are all corrupt as fuck, anyways. I think
All of them.
The
All of
surprising,
them.
yeah, true. But the surprising thing is that this guy went to jail. He must have pissed off the wrong big dog.
Hold on. We're just going to take... Logan White always has the funniest fucking stories. Nico, did you hear about the crazy-ass liberal that OD'd on Tylenol in protest Trump? Oh, I'm not surprised. I think I know exactly the video you're talking about. What a tard. Because you saw that trend. There's a trend right now in the U.S. where pregnant women are taking Tylenol to kind of...
That's so ridiculous,
go again.
Man.
No, but hey, bro, hold on. I got to tell you this. This is one of the funniest shit there. However you feel about this, I get it, but you're gonna laugh at this. So one of the pastors that I follow in the U.S., he's insane. Like the type of stuff that he says is so clever, and he's like, well, so there's a trend right now that the pregnant women are actually eating Tylenols just because Trump said not to. I guess Trump should just say that he's pro-abortion and he could save millions of lives. And he walks away. I'm like, oh, snap. But the guy's pretty clever. But
yeah.
You know, that's exactly it.
Well,
there's a bunch of videos of those women popping them.
Like,
did you see the post from? But did you see the post from 2017? Yes,
yeah,
saying that you
don't use it.
You shouldn't use that.
No, exactly right. Like it literally says that even if you don't think that it causes autism or whatever, like it's probably just best not to take as few, or it's probably best to just take as few drugs as possible as a general philosophy. Why would you take any drug, even if it is quote unquote harmless? And then you see the tweet from a couple of years back. They're saying pregnant women do not take our products.
Hold on, I just want to see the video because I think I saw men ODs, because I believe I saw it. They weren't talking about the ODA, but the guy was taking handfuls of pills and he was shoving them in the mouth, and it was the doctor. You know, a doctor that's reacting is like, no, don't do that. So it probably is the same twat.
Oh yeah, you know it is.
But if you can find, hey Logan, if you can find the video, because I know I saw it, but trying to find it is a completely different story. But if you can find it, put it in the comment. I will go grab it, because this
what
type
video
of shit
is that?
just... Logan is saying that, did you hear about the crazy ass liberal that OD'd on Tylenol in the protest against Trump?
I mean, I know that a lot of them are doing it. I didn't know
what's going on. Mike's an asshole, by the way. So he texted me earlier. He's like, I think it was yesterday morning. Because guys, I've known Mike for like 20 years, right? And he texted me. He's like, hey man, the show yesterday was awesome. I'm like, man, I wasn't even there.
That's hilarious. He's like, that's why it was so awesome. No, I was done with the interview, and I'm like, I like Talia showed up. She's like, well, look who's running the show. I'm like, nah, that's not my thing. I was like, I'm just the eye candy, man. I'm just a talent. I'll come here and talk, but I'm not a show runner. It's not my thing. But
I had so many cool stories, man. But that's the thing, right? With a show like ours, you don't really need to have anything much to talk about. You can just start going through the comment, and
I did that for like 45 minutes, and we only ended, I think, 20 minutes before 11.
My apologies, guys. My apologies. My apologies.
No, I think if as far as excuses for missing the show go, that's probably pretty much at the top of them.
So here's why I invited Jason from Wiretap to come on the show today. Because if you guys have never heard of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, which as it stands right now, I'm not very familiar with them, but we recorded, Rob and I were on our Saturday mashup, and Jason from Wiretap showed up and he talked to us about it. But the reason I'm bringing it up is, you guys know who this girl is, right? She is the cabinet advisor, Amira El-Shabi. She is the special envoy to Islamophobia for the federal government. She's getting paid like 200 grand a year to tell us how we're all Islamophobic. and she actually co-founded the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. So that's why I reached out to Jason so he can come on the show to explain to us what is the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. And from what he's told us before, damn, it's messed up. It's really messed up. So
Yeah,
we'll wait till Jason.
It did sound pretty messed up.
So Jason's joining us in an hour and 15 minutes. That's 9:30 for the people like Rob. And he's going to talk to us about the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, because literally somebody that's sitting on the government, on a government job right now, co-founded it. And from the research that I did, they've received about $1 million in the past 5 years in funding. And one of the funding that they received money for is to investigate right-wing media.
Really?
That sounds like bullshit. Yes.
Well, yeah.
100%.
I mean, especially like this new epidemic of left-wing violence, and that is new. Like, I know there's been, skirmishes at a lot of protests for a couple of years now, but like this kind of violence feels like it's breaking out of the protests, which I think suggests a new, it's like we've talked about this culture shift. I believe that this is the reaction to it, because the side that's losing power, not all of them, but the crazy, unstable ones this is going to be very triggering to them to feel like, oh shit, what little cultural power we had, because they had most of it is like, the they, them. There's people who have no power in their personal lives, right? They're generally unlikable or obnoxious in some way. People don't really like them. And, so it, fuck, you know what I'm talking about. I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, I didn't want to go down a rabbit hole anymore.
But Logan White is saying that the Canadian Anti-Hate Network is pretty much surveillance wing of Antifa.
Yeah, that's what Buddy was saying, and I found that really interesting.
It's going to be interesting to have him on the show, but he'll be here in about an hour. Since we're talking about Islamophobia, this is absolutely blows my mind. It's what's his name? Mario the North, bald-headed guy there. So he posted about this morning, and I'm like, when I go on Instagram and X and I just browse and I take notes, like I just copy paste stuff in a folder, and then at night I just go through them and see what people want to see, what makes more sense of talking about. But here, this one, even him, that is no, not Marty up north. His name is Mario the North, or Mario something North. I can't remember. I always forget. Either way, he made a video about this, and he's a non-religious guy. Unlike me, he does not talk about religion at all. Okay. But he shared a story that a Muslim charity is suing a church for not being able to open a Muslim school inside the same building as the church, claiming Islamophobia. I swear to you. Yes.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, think. So here is the video from CBC.
What? Go ahead.
No, you'll see. Like it's playing right now. It's just it takes a minute. They don't have somebody talking but it's basically saying you'll see the pastor.
We're in a battle right now, church. We're in a big battle, as you know. The owners are being pressured right now by an Islamic group that wants to come into this building with us. And we are standing against it because we don't want that type of religion joining us in the building. And I can't say too much because I don't want to sound derogatory, discriminatory in any way.
Now, the church's comments posted publicly, in our view, are clearly hateful and Islamophobic. It saddens our client that the church, understanding the importance of faith itself, would take really such a grossly reckless position. They also persuaded the landlord, which is why you see both listed as defendants on the claim, to withhold the space that was otherwise readily available to our client.
So just to put it into perspective, they do have a map on here. So that's the lawyer that's taking the case. Obviously, she looks like a lawyer. You can tell she talks like one.
Yeah.
She can be, I'm going to keep my comments, but here is, so you see my mouse here. The red portion, that's where the Muslim want to open a school. And this part there, the other half is a church. So basically, the church does not want a Muslim school in the same building as a Christian church.
That makes sense. They were there first, right? But are they trying to rent the space out of the church, or is it like the same plaza or like strip mall?
The building belongs to a third party.
Okay.
The building, like I was showing, is two-part, right? I'll put it on screen again.
Okay.
So let me scroll in.
Oh,
a bit too much.
Yeah, I see.
So this part, the front part is you don't see my mouse, but the front part is the part that's not highlighted is the church,
and the other one,
and then the red portion is the place that the Muslim school want to rent.
And what happened? The church is suing, or the church?
The church went out. The video that you just saw, they put that on the line. Okay. The charity, and supposedly that swayed the building
owner to not rent
to them.
Okay.
And now they're claiming Islamophobia because now they're suing both the church and the business, the building owner, for not wanting to rent their space to a Muslim school.
That's ridiculous.
But let's be honest here. If that building was owned by a Muslim and they wanted to open a Christian church in it, you know exactly what the fuck happened.
They wouldn't allow
it.
it.
Because it's a bunch of white people that don't want to allow it, you know it's a problem. It's just that because Christians are involved, that they're pushing back and saying no. We all know why they're trying to rent in the same space as a church. Again, same fucking reason why they block Dundas and Young and Dundas in Toronto. Why they block city blocks here in Montreal to pray. Why they take over parks all over Canada. It ain't because they don't have all the mosques in the world. That's a statement. They want to open in the same building as a church because they're making a statement. We all know this. So can they stop?
Oh yeah, it's a show of force. It's a show of dominance. Everybody knows. And from the landlord's perspective, it has nothing to do with Islamophobia. It's that he has an existing tenant that I assume he values. He probably, at least he knows them. He knows they're good tenants, and he wants to keep them happy. And it's just a good business decision to not rent to someone else, right? It's like if someone was a daycare and then someone wanted to put a strip bar over there, you would say, well, no.
Good example.
Right? I don't want to disrupt the daycare, so I'm not going to rent to you. It's not stripper phobic, but they'll call it that. I
was going to say close the daycare, but yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Fuck them kids.
but
yeah, the building. Go ahead.
Even Mario, an atheist like you that never talks about religion, it is the first time that I actually hear him talk about it. And he's like, guys, I never talk about religion, but this is absolutely insane. And he starts explaining it. Even him, an atheist, is like, bro, come on. We all know what you're doing. We all fucking know what you're doing. And even if it had nothing to do with the Christian church, just avoiding potential bullshit, if there's any, would you really want to have, let's say that the guy did not follow what the church is asking, but you look at what it implies. Do you really want to have a Muslim school in the same building as an existing Christian church? Like,
no.
Do you?
No. If the shoe was on the other foot, it would absolutely not. It would be a completely different case. And if they did sue, they would win. You know what I mean? And I'll be surprised if the church wins. I suspect they'll probably deem it Islamophobic.
The church is in trouble.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that church is in trouble. Maybe I should, maybe I can find who that guy is and actually reach out to him. Who that guy, who's the Great Life Church in Stony Creek. Oh shit, I know exactly where that is. Stony Creek. Fuck, I think I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, this is a good
If
comment
he wants to come on the show.
by Mike. He says, I have a martial arts school in the plaza. If another school wanted to come in there, I'd be against it too. That's just common sense when it comes to rental buildings. They will use anything they can to play victims. Yeah, like it's just a business decision, right? The building owner, he doesn't know these new tenants. They might be shit tenants, but he knows the existing one. So of course he's going to value them over these. And if they're not going to be happy with these guys, it's a perfectly reasonable business decision to say no, and has nothing to do with hate. You know, as Mike says, they're just any way to play a victim, right?
And you know, I see it even further, and obviously this is just my views. I might be completely off on this one, but I see this as a show of force again. I guarantee, in my head, they did it on purpose.
Yeah,
they made sure to do that.
They went
they
there
knew,
probably
they
knowing
knew.
they would get kicked out,
Yes.
so that they then get to file a civil rights complaint or a human rights complaint. And I don't, if you know how those human rights tribunals work, the person making the complaint does not have to pay anything. Their fees for lawyers are covered. It's free.
Remember that trans that kept on suing pageants?
Jessica Yaniv.
Exactly. We had one of the lawyers on the show to speak about that. I think it was Jean Carpe that actually addressed it. And one of the conversation, I don't remember if it was on or off air, but it was not only was he doing that, was he suing people that refuse. That's the dude that wanted to get his balls shaved as a woman, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna shave your balls.
Yeah.
That's him though, right? But did you know that behind the scene, he was approaching the women in the salons that refused to shave his balls,
give me 2,000,
to say
5,000.
exact. So you know that's exactly what happened, because that case was dismissed against the pageant. You never heard of that dude again. He's probably trying to find other no that won't shave his balls. Jonathan Yaniv. Yeah, sounds about right.
That's his given name, and he goes by Jessica Simpson. Like, no, bro.
And yes, you're absolutely right, Logan. It's Mario Zalea. I don't know why I always forget his name. And I agree with Jim. Do you, like, if you judge by this, is this the type of tenant that you want? That because they don't get it, they don't get their way, they're suing?
Right? Exactly.
You're basically showing me that I don't want you as my tenant. Like, screw this. No, thank you.
Any landlord in the world, whatever he's renting, he's going to go with the tenant he knows that he likes versus an unfamiliar tenant. Because why even take the risk? You know these guys are good. You know they're going to pay on time. These guys, I'm doubtful.
And they're already complaining.
Yeah,
because they didn't get the space.
They're mindset. They're going to make life hell for you as a landlord.
That's not what you want.
You don't want to.
Definitely not what you want.
You don't want to.
There was a.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, there was a good comment that was saying, isn't this the exact same gameplay the Muslim pulled in the UK? I don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. This to me is orchestrated. And that's my assumption. I have no proof of what I'm saying, but that's my opinion. That they did that on purpose. That this is not a coincidence that they went for the same building where the church was, fully knowing that the church would complain, and now they get to play the victim. I might be wrong, but this is exactly how I see it. I guarantee you that if they started arresting Muslims for praying in the middle of the street, they would be crying victim. Oh, you're Islamophobic. That's why you don't let us pray in the street anymore. Like, don't give me this shit. We all fucking know. It's a game. That's the game plan. Yeah. But I don't think we have a choice to call it out. And it's so unfortunate that I had to go yesterday, because I really wanted to have that conversation with El Sheik. What was his name? Camille, not Camille. Camel. Because people were asking you to ask questions that you're the good guy.
Yeah, I'm the good cop, man. That's not my.
I'm that guy.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, yeah, that Nico's your guy on that shit. I'm not gonna. I'm not like I don't like that. I'd rather just talk to someone on something I know that we can have a productive discussion on.
It would have been productive, but it would have been hard questions.
I'm still asking.
I told him it wouldn't be easy, right?
No, it wasn't. No, I think, as I went about as hard as I would go on a guess when I asked him, what do you believe immigrants have a responsibility to assimilate? He agreed they do. But that could have been perceived as hostile if he didn't, if he felt differently.
But he knew, like I told him that at least I would ask him some questions that he probably wouldn't necessarily like or been asked before, but
I also asked about the show of force, if he believes that if he agrees that these Muslims or any religion should be allowed to block public infrastructure or pray. And he waffled a little bit.
Of course.
I noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed his response, but it was more like, not that he thinks it's wrong for the reasons we do. I don't think or at least he didn't admit it as a show of force. I think he saw more of them being rude, right? Like it was time to pray and they stopped immediately where they were instead of going to a mosque. And that was rude.
Oh yeah. And those sidewalks, I've lived in Toronto. Those sidewalks are massive. Yeah. No, they're all set up. You're telling me that they were walking around with their praying mats?
Exactly.
Because they're not leaning on the street. They're leaning on prayers mats. Don't give me, absolutely.
No.
This is where.
And he's wrong. But I got the sense that he was genuine. Like, I don't think he was in bad faith. I think he just doesn't know. I doubt he's seen those videos. I don't think he's a very religious, like super religious Muslim himself.
I don't know.
But
I don't know. But I would have asked the question, no matter if he answered or
wrong.
not.
He's wrong, though. It is a show of force. That's what's wrong. It's not that they're being rude. But other than that, he seemed like a pretty genuine, open guy. Obviously,
that's why I had him on.
Yeah,
that's the impression he gave me too.
Yeah, and there's common ground certainly on the protecting kids.
He's likable. You got to admit that the guy, I spoke to him twice. I actually like the guy. Like I do actually like. He's a very likable dude.
He's just a charismatic guy, fun to talk to.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said he'd like to come back. I told him you'd be in touch.
Oh yeah. I texted him after, and he already agreed. It's just a matter of me putting it together. But he's definitely gonna come back. I had been looking forward to this for a little while because finally somebody. It's not easy to get somebody to take me up on that offer. Like most people don't want to come on this show if they just have to go to my Instagram and they're like, eesh. You know exactly what I stand for. I am not a shy person and my content's out there. I post a shit ton every single day. You know where I fucking stand on whatever the fuck issues going on because I will tell you. It's just like this morning I was posting about the new gun ban. And I'm like, guys, this is not a gun buyback, it's a gun grab. I explain why. You have three options. You can either disable your gun, you can either sell it to the government at a discount because they won't pay market value for it, or you can not comply, become an overnight criminal, and hope that the police doesn't arrest you. This is not voluntary. This is a mandatory gun grab. Taking guns away from law-abiding citizens is like castrating yourself, hoping the pedophile next door stops raping. That's my post. And that's the fucking truth, right? It's the truth.
Yeah, it's a harsh truth, but I mean, it is the truth.
How the fuck is disarming me gonna fix the criminal problem? The same thing as castrating myself is not gonna stop a rapist from raping.
Yeah, and it's not the legal gun owners are the problem. They're like statistically that's been proven. If it was, if there was statistics that suggest that it was legal gun owners, I'd be all about cracking down on them. But it's not. So why do it? It's not necessary. And yeah, it is really funny how they just switched the language. Like, man, I don't know if it's just that I'm looking at the left with different eyes now, but like, that's such blatant.
Not different eyes, is that you're not like this anymore. You just
yeah. Like, but that's so fucking blatant. Has it always been this bad? Like, because they said temporary the whole time, and then not temporary. Like they just bold-faced lied like that, man. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I am.
No, it's definitely
surprised.
It's a gun grab. Oh,
yeah, and
it's not even,
it's not even that I care about the gun issue, as you know. I don't really. It's just it could have been any issue. Just the fact that they lied so brazenly is what I find disturbing.
The OPP is saying no. The RCMP in Alberta is saying no. Daniel Smith said no, they're not going to enforce it. Literally, most of the police forces in what was it, Manitoba? No, Regina said no. There's a bunch. I saw them yesterday. There's a bunch of them that are just like no. So it's just a matter of more police force saying nope, and it's not going to be enforced. What's the government? What can the government do? And the worst part is that they have the easiest way to say no by simply saying two things. We don't have the manpower to do so, and where the fuck are we supposed to store those guns until the government comes get them? Because they need to stay somewhere. Where are they supposed to stand? Like, just, you're not just gonna leave them on the floor in the police office, in your municipal police office. They need to be stored behind locked doors, in locked cabinets, away from the ammunition. Do you think that they have all those infrastructure to host that at the police station? Of course not.
No,
and I guarantee you the gun ranges that do are going to tell you right there, like, you're taking my customers away? Yeah, fuck you. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
People just, the police force just need to say no, and it's not going to happen. And then the government, but everybody is calling, like, outside of the Liberals, like, people on the outside are just like, hey, guys, what the hell are you talking about? $742 billion is the estimate.
Million.
Do you know what we can do? Do you know what? Yeah, million. Jesus, yeah. 742 billion.
Something else.
That's like a 10-year. That's more than.
We can do a lot of stuff with that money, right? Like,
do you know how much money we could send Zelensky? All that money could be sent to Zelensky.
Go to Zelensky, man.
Jesus, come on.
And he could buy all the guns. He could buy a lot bigger guns.
Did you see that? It was going crazy on X, but people are saying that Zelensky should be put in for a Nobel Prize, a peace Nobel Prize. And I'm like, the only prize that guy should win is an Oscar for the highest paid actor of all time.
Yeah, well,
that's it. Done. Yeah. That's the only award that fuck should have. Dictator of the Year? I would agree with that. I'd agree with Dictator of the Year.
Yeah. They should, when do they give that one out?
Yep.
Wise Guy says, the head of Toronto Police made a statement that not one legal gun has been used in Toronto crime for over 5 years. So again, guns is not like really a super important issue for me, but I don't want any resources spent on enforcing laws or creating new laws for a group of people who have been demonstrably extremely safe statistically. It's just not a necessary use of government resources and it's not just money resources, but this shit takes time from other stuff they could be doing, right? Yep. Like, how much time, and governments can only do so much at once, right? So you got to pick and choose carefully. And this is just not a good use at all of government and police and societal resources. And that alone is reason to oppose it, like, vehemently. And then you've got the issue of, the gun angle itself issue. And that's, again,
I'm not even playing that angle. I'm just playing the fact that it makes no sense because we're not the one using our guns in crimes. And Pam is right. It's not the RCMP that is saying no. Is that Daniel Smith's party controls the CFOs, the chief firearm officers, and it's instructing them to disregard it. So the provincial, the RCMP that serves the province of Alberta are going to be standing down. Just like, remember a team when the lawyer that came on the show to say that if you really want to put Castle Doctrine in place or remove that gray area, you just tell you just give you just give new rules to your lawyer, to your crown attorneys to say disregard whatever's being pushed by the federal, and those are the laws those are the procedures that you're going to imply. You're not going to prosecute for this, and this. So
you do the guidance that the provincial attorney generals. Yeah.
Exactly. So instead of trying to change the federal, you change the provincial. And Daniel
probably what
Smith has
Alberta is
figured
gonna
that.
do. Yeah.
But Daniel Smith has figured that one out. She knows
Yeah.
exactly how to circumvent the federal, and that's exactly what she's going to do there. And man, again, my wife and I were talking about this just a couple of days ago. If there's a place that if we end up staying in Canada, which I don't know that that's even a possibility, it would be Alberta. Like that's the only place I could see living is Alberta.
Well, like look at yeah, like obviously I'm kind of stuck here for family reasons, but if I was not anchored anywhere, I would probably choose to live in Alberta. What's really interesting is I don't think that I don't think the federal government is going to really give a shit if Alberta doesn't enforce it. I think they just don't want to have to fight it in court. They're like, okay, you don't have to do anything, just don't make us look bad. Don't make it, don't keep bringing it up kind of thing, which is obviously a great example of why it's stupid. If you don't really care if it's implemented, but you're only doing it for appearances, that's just bad policy. That's bad governance.
But that's what Gary Shamapalapan said when he got caught in the leaked audio, that was a campaign promise and they would stand by it.
Yeah.
It's a Justin Trudeau era gun grab that they're just going to enforce instead of removing it because it would make them look bad. That's basically at the end of the day, that's all it is. Yep. Now, another thing that they're sticking to, and this is breaking news from today at least, I just heard about it a couple of hours ago, literally an hour and a half before the show, but it turns out that the Liberals are set to introduce a new online harms legislation for the third time. Minister Guilbeault said yesterday in the House of Commons.
Okay, that is going to be worse than the hate crime one, way worse. That's where that's where they're going to talk about being offended, and that kind of shit. That's a really dangerous piece of legislation, and we are going to do the deepest of dives into that.
Not just the deepest of dive. I will fight this tooth and nail because this is literally me going to prison. This is the type of bill that will put me in prison with all the shit that I say. They have enough. They don't have to go far. Just go back to today. Go yesterday. Every single day you can find something that's going to hurt your feelings. Every day.
An online harm act, that is the hill to die on. If you are any sort of common sense liberal or conservative anywhere in this country, because if that passes, it's going to get a whole lot worse. It'll be. The videos you're seeing of cops banging on the door at 2 a.m.
That's where it is.
Arresting 6-year-olds. That's coming if this passes. I bet you they didn't think that would ever happen in the UK even 2 or 3 years ago. They never thought that would happen.
No. I know they didn't. So we're in a place where they're still doing the same thing, that they want to make it a criminal offense to distribute non-consensual sexual deepfakes and increase penalties for the distribution of intimate images without consent. So, they're always going, the party also pledged to introduce legislation to protect children from horrific crimes, including online sexploitation and extortion, and give law enforcement prosecution the tools they need to fight crime. Yet they give 1 year to child rapists and they let him out. They give 1.5 years to child rapists. They let him out 6 months early so that he can rape somebody else. He raped a toddler this time. So don't give me this shit. It's not about, this has nothing to do, just like their gun grab, it has nothing to do with public safety. This is all about censorship. This is about taking our critical rights away. They don't want us to speak the truth. And just like I posted yesterday, I'm like, it's no coincidence that every single country out there that's still pushing the climate change agenda and that is invaded by mass immigration are also putting in place censorship laws like this. So they're all doing it because they don't want us to question them. And that's the piece of legislation right there. And this is the hill I will die on, because this will put me in jail. If something like that passes, I need to leave the country or else I'm going to jail.
Well, this show
it's plain and simple. Hey, bro, I'm very polite on this show compared to the type of shit I post every day. I try my best to not get banned on YouTube. So
Pam says, tell Ottawa to pound sand by smashing that like button. So yeah, listen to Pam. Guys, remember to smash that like button. Of course, you are watching the Political Orphans. Please remember to like and share the stream. And if you really want to be wild and help support the show, you can consider becoming a member for the low price of $2.99. You can do that through YouTube. We also have a buy me a coffee up in one of these two corners. And that is another way you can support the show. But no matter what, remember to throw your comments in there, your questions. This show is heavily based on audience engagement. We're basically just all having a conversation here together. So remember to drop whatever you got there in the chat, and we'll probably get to it.
Perfect example. T-Boys is saying absolutely insanity. Larry Brock was pushing back on Gilbo today. They're going in the UK where Carney's at the UK. They're literally duplicating what the UK and Australia is doing. So you know that they're going to do that, and then they're going to start implementing a law where 18 or younger will not be able to go on social media. And the reason that they do that is not to help the kids, because technically that responsibility falls on the head of the parents. It's up to the parents to figure out what their fucking kids are doing on the cell phones that they pay for. And they're only pushing those laws like they're doing in Australia right now, because that means that every single person that uses social media will have to provide a government ID to be able to access their profile, meaning that they will automatically be able to link your ID with any social media profile that you have, because a lot of people don't have their real names. Mine's are confirmed, so it's my real name that you see online. It's my name. Mm-hmm. I don't have a choice. I had to provide an ID to people to show them that's who I am. But I understand why the average person does not have to do that, does not want to do that. But again, this is to identify who you are, because sometimes an IP address is not enough. You need to go to your telecom provider. You need to figure it out, because if you understand how that works, IPs are shared between people. They're part of a pool and people use the same IP. So you need to prove who that is. That way, I don't give a fuck where you are. You could be in a different country. And once you come back, I'm like, oh, you're the one that posted that. Okay, John. Knock, knock, knock. We're sending you the woke police.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? And we're seeing it happen again and again in the UK. And I know it seems like it can happen here, but I promise you they thought the exact same thing 2 or 3 years ago. It's just this has to be a hill to die on, this Online Harms Act.
100%.
This has to be, all hands on deck, in my opinion. This is the most consequential piece of legislation by far that this government has put up. And guys, I just wanted to mention, literally 2 to 3, 2 minutes after I did the little spiel about hit the like button, we got a huge rush of viewers from YouTube. So that is, make sure to always remember to do that, because it really does help in the algorithm. It really does push the show to 100%. Get us out there. And we'll keep reminding you, because I know I forget it too. But that is definitely a big way you guys can help the show. So thank you for that. If you are new, of course, welcome to the Political Orphans. This is a space that Nico and I are trying to create with our community, where people from all over the spectrum can get together and have some common sense conversations about the topics of the day. So the show is heavily based on audience engagement. So throw a comment or question if you agree with us. If you disagree, let us know, and we'll get to it.
So guys, Bill C-63, or the new Bill C-63 that Gilbo is saying that he wants to introduce, you have to understand that this is going to take your rights away. If we have any type of speech left in Canada, it will be gone after that. But you need to put it into perspective. You have a new Bill C-63 that's coming up. You have Bill C-2 that was tabled, that hasn't passed. It's been kicked back to the House of Commons, if I'm not mistaken, after being looked at the Senate, or it's still waiting on the Senate floor. But this is the bill about products that will be exported to the US. Remember, anything that is meant for a different country or for the US can be inspected. We did a deep dive with John Carpe. Just look on the YouTube channel for Bill C2. We did a deep dive, but basically that bill would give authority to government workers to send police to your place because you're exporting a good overseas. They could literally search your house without a warrant, and anybody that has touched that product, it doesn't matter that you're a trucker, that you're a warehouse owner, they can go to your place after the product's not even there anymore, just because you were part of the chain of custody. So we're talking Bill C2 That's the first one they introduced. Then last week they introduced Bill C9, which are basically a hate
That's
crime.
the hate crime, which I had some concerns with, but I remember thinking like, okay, this doesn't seem that bad, because I don't see anything about offenses or like being offended, but that's coming in this one.
Of course, no, you are, because remember, and the lawyer agreed. I just can't remember what his name is on top of my head. I'm so used to dealing with John. The lawyer did agree that because they were starting to name parks and sport events, that it could potentially open the door of me standing in front of a park as a big guy. I'm intimidating, and that could be a hate crime right there. So as much as the bill is mostly about adding to existing crimes as per the criminal code, they are reframing some of their criminal code offense. They defined hatred as a fucking emotion that's stronger than dislike.
Than disdain.
Like, are you kidding me?
How do you prove that in a legal setting?
You know how? Because in the comments you put 2 thumbs down.
Oh yeah, so that was hate. Then it was
that's
hate.
That's
if it was only 1 thumb, it's disdain.
Disdain.
But
2, hey,
jail, buddy.
But
jail.
We're talking, guys, within the past. The Liberals have been in power for 6 months. Bill C2, Bill C9 introduced last week, and now they want to put back a Bill C63. If this doesn't scare you, you need to wake the fuck up, because those 3 bills, if they pass, you literally have no more rights
it's a 1, 2,
to say
3,
anything. Oh, fuck me.
Each one was like, it was bad, really bad, really, really fucking bad. But yeah,
it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. And you know, wise guy, I would not be surprised if you're right that if that happens, Trump might just like,
and it'll hurt our relationship with the United States even more.
Yeah.
Like, why do this? Why poke the bear, man? You don't have to like Trump. It's still we send 80% of our goods there. We don't have the luxury of liking their president or disliking him. We don't have an option. And any prime minister who either intentionally or out of sheer stupidity constantly is poking that bear and hurting our relationship with the United States, that's incompetence. That's political malpractice.
Did you I just want to take one, hold on right here. Erod is saying, and what are they hoping to achieve with the retarded bills? Just look at the UK. Literally a tweet will have you visited by woke police. I posted one, was it this week? I think, yes, it was this week. We're Thursday, so it was this week. I showed a video of a woman getting visited by 2 woke police in the UK because her daughter viewed a post. She did not like it. She did not comment on it. She
that was
did
the
not
Muslim
share
one,
it. She viewed it, and one of the police officer, niqab, clearly Muslim, the other blonde girl. Both of them are literally my weight combined. They couldn't do shit to anybody, but 2 woke agents of the UK police showed up to get the phone because she viewed a post.
And did you see like how smug those cops were? Like how entitled? Like that, man, you don't want that here in Canada. And I see this online harms bill as the gateway to that. That is how we become the UK. Hey, thank you, sir.
Too many sheeples.
Sheeples, yeah.
Too many sheeple just gifted 5 membership of the Political Orphans,
that's
brother.
Interesting. How does that work? Do we
that
give
means
them out?
That means that we have 5 memberships to give. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should do something like, maybe we'll give out 1 to the top commenter, or who had the top comment in our opinion.
If you have an idea how to do it, bro, I will happily let you choose something for once. You can actually come up with something intelligent if you want.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, so thanks to was this too much?
Thanks, brother. Too much sheeple is a great name.
Appreciate that, brother. So we have apparently 5 memberships to give out. So maybe just we'll give out 1 per episode. By the end of the show, me and Nico will just maybe chat like privately behind the scenes, and we'll both agree on who was the best commenter or who had the top comment of today. And then we'll just give it to them. I don't know if that makes sense.
I just want to see how to do it. Let me find somebody that. How the hell do I?
Wilf. They can't all go to Liberals, Rob. There aren't any. Oh no, Chris H is still here. But after Joe Stradamus, I think it's past his bedtime now. It's not as much fun chirping him when he's not here, though. But yeah, that's a big loss in the comments. Joe really brought a lot to the show. All you guys do. Everyone has their own little niche that they bring. Which again, guys, if you are just tuning in, this is the kind of show that we're doing. It's here to have a conversation about politics and culture, of course, but they're always respectful. One thing you kind of realize when common sense people get together is how much common ground you actually have. Often me and Nico will agree on the problem, maybe not agree on the solution, but it seems like out there in the public, the body politic, the left and the right can't even agree on the problem. And how can you ever solve it if you don't even know what the problem is? They
go out automatically, by the way.
What's that?
I think because I can't seem to say.
Oh, they go out automatically
to assign them. I think that I think that too much sheeple will actually be responsible for giving them away. Either way, bro. Okay. We much appreciate it, man. Always appreciate it. They've already been assigned Rob and Nico. Well, see, there you go.
Okay,
that's beauty. Right. Oh, that's even better. I don't even need to do shit.
We don't have to fuck with it. Yeah. Wise guy says, "Is Joe missing because of the time change?" Yeah, I think he does come back at this time. I've seen him a few times, but I think he said that it's because of the time change. Pam says,
plus he's old. He's old.
Nice.
He's old.
He's an old timer.
Yep. There was a question I wanted to take because it's a pretty simple one. Marilyn Haley is saying, "I'm not understanding the 3 strike stuff." 3 strike stuff, that's in Ontario. They want to bring it back. There's something that's very popular in the US.
Like
basically,
3 strikes laws?
It used to be there. They want to bring it back. So basically, if you'd have 3 crimes, let's say you rob the bank, and you're robbing a bank,
crimes, right?
It's literally, that's why I'm using robbing a bank. If you're robbing a bank, and then you rob a bank again, they're never letting you out. You're staying in fucking prison for the rest of your life.
I like
That's what it is. That's normally, at least in the US, that's how the 3 strike stuff work. In Canada, that means that you have to stay there for 3 years. But in the US, the real 3 strike law is if you commit 3, let's call them violent crime. There's certain categories of crime. If you commit 3 of them, you fucked. You stay in a prison for the rest of your life. You're not coming out. That's what it is. So yes, I saw that.
I'm in favor of those. Like as long as it's violent crimes. Like I don't want someone going in for like drug offenses or something for the rest of their life. I don't care.
But I think that it also happens.
Now, if they commit a violent crime because they're on drugs, then okay, count it.
It's such a great. Your picture is awesome.
What
it's
Wiggum. Ralph Wiggum.
It's Ralph Wiggum
I'm
just
helping.
Digging. Yes, sir. Shall we move to the next subject?
Yeah. Let's.
So Bill C-63. So guys, Bill C-63, Bill C-5, Bill C-2. My apologies. I highly suggest that you go check the episode we did with John Carpe. We went deep dive. Bill C-2 is 140 pages. We went through it. That was a long one. Yeah. But we did do a deep dive on this one. Bill C-9, that was just released last week, is like 5 to 10 pages. But it's mostly garbage, so it's super easy read.
Yeah.
Bill C-63, though, this is going to be tabled again because it was announced yesterday. That one is a problem. That one is a really, really big problem. Yeah. Poliev is calling for the 3 strike law too. There's a bunch of conservatives that are calling for it. Okay. Yeah. I like
balls on Pierre.
Well, not really big balls, but one of them dropped over the weekend.
Yeah, one of them. Ooh, look at the big brain on. I forget his name, but
that is such a great movie. I've seen this movie so many times.
Pulp Fiction.
On Brett, I think it's Brett. Look at the big brain on Brad.
Yeah,
it's because of the
big brain on Brad.
What was it? Is the Kahuna Burger?
Yeah, the Kahuna Burger, the big Kahuna Burger.
It looks so delicious. That's why I remember.
Yeah, you know what they
it
call
looks good.
Big Mac in France, a Royale with cheese.
No, how do you call the quarter pounder?
Oh, doesn't he say
The
it's-
Royal?
Oh, that's
No,
the
no.
Royal with cheese. And he says,
Yes,
well, why
the
do they
Royal
call it
with
Big
cheese.
Mac? Big Mac.
Yeah, yeah.
funny.
Dole out so hold on, let's see. Yeah, everybody knew except us. Professionalism right there. David FL is saying that YouTube doles out the membership. You don't give
Okay.
them out, guys. Already been distributed. Oh, that's bullshit. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it would
It's
have been
fine.
fun.
I'm happy that we don't need to do it. So there's no biases.
Yeah,
No
I like
biases.
I like what Jim says here. He says, "Hold on, three strikes that can be views." Yeah, I should clarify. I am supportive of it in principle, but I really have to see the law that they actually write, because I could imagine scenarios where it could be abused. I would like to see some genuine fail safes or checks and balances in it. But if those are possible to do from a legislative standpoint, and if they had that in it, I would be supportive of it.
You know what, Jim? I disagree. You can trust their government. They will never abuse their power.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Jim? Have faith in the government, Jimmy. Come on.
The government wouldn't lie to you.
No, never.
No.
So let's go to the next subject, the main subject of the day, which motherfucker again. This is something that came out today about 6 or 7 hours ago, maybe more like 5 hours ago, but it's been announced that again, Canada Post is going on strike again. Here's a video from CTV News.
This happens every what? 2 weeks now? 3 weeks?
I checked. It's the third time in the past year that they're going on strike. Third time
Have they ever actually gone on strike, or has it just been threats every time?
No, they go, but
Okay.
it's cold outside, so they came back to the office. I always thought, every single time I think Canada Post, I think Newman in Seinfeld, where, shouldn't you be working today? No, it's raining. I don't go out when it's raining. That's all I can think every single time you talk to me about. No matter, I don't work when it's raining.
Yeah.
So here is CTV News talking about the strike.
We'll begin with breaking news. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers says on its website that its members at Canada Post are now on a nationwide strike. CUPW says it's in response to what it calls the government's attack on the postal service and workers. A union official tells CTV News things are happening in real time and that not all of its members have been informed yet of the strike, but adds it's coming. The announcement comes hours after the government announced it would phase out door-to-door mail delivery within a decade and slow the pace of letter delivery. The government says Canada Post loses $10 million a day and that it's seeing shrinking volumes of letter mail. It also blames stiff competition in the parcel delivery service. CTV's Rachel Aiello is tracking the developments for us from Ottawa and joins us now. Rachel, what do we know about the strike?
Yeah, hey, Renee. So as you've just outlined, that is essentially all the information we have at this juncture. This is clearly a response from the union to the federal government's announcement today saying that effective immediately, all of its postal workers are on a nationwide strike. What this looks like is a bit in flux. We are in contact with the union trying to get a sense of what exactly this entails. It does seem a bit fluid at the moment, this just breaking in the last few moments. And this is in response to the minister responsible for Canada Post coming out today with a series of major changes to how mail is delivered for Canadians that will have a direct impact on the postal workers who have been locked in this long-standing contract negotiation with management at Canada Post.
So when it comes to that.
So basically what's happening, the minister responsible for Canada Post came out today and said that over the next decade, they will basically phase out the door-to-door delivery. And
Really?
they're saying to most houses, because obviously some of the houses will still get it depending where you're located. But like here, for example, where I am, they don't do door-to-door delivery. They have a mailbox, a communal mailbox. And I'm in the city, right? They just have a massive mailbox and they deliver there, and every now and then you go check when you think your little locker's full of dumb
basically-
shit that you never look at. So
basically,
you know-
service will get worse because it's obviously better service to have it come straight to your house. Now you have to go down the block. So the service is getting shittier while they're getting paid more and more and more and racking up losses.
But at the end of the day, I look at the state, the shape of people. Like you look at, I tend to use American numbers, but Canadians are pretty fucking close. Like 42% of Americans are obese and about 30% of them are overweight. I am happy that they have to walk a block to go get their mail. In the same way as, as much as people hate Antifa, I'm always happy to see them outside exercising. Like, oh, you want to protest? That's okay. That means walking.
At least they're getting the rest.
The daily exercise.
It's the only time they leave their basement.
But in all seriousness, though, here are the numbers. So since 2008, Canada Post has lost over $5 billion. Last year, it's lost $1 billion. This year, it's on track to lose $1.5 billion. Earlier this year, if you remember, the federal government provided $1 billion injection to keep the corporation operational. In the second quarter of 2025, which is the last quarter, we're in the last month of the third quarter. So the last quarter that's been tabulated has been the worst quarter in Canada Post history, where they lost $407 million. And as they mentioned in the video, as we stand today, the corporation is losing about $10 million every day. 20 years ago, Canada Post delivered about 5.5 billion letters every year. Today, it's delivering only $2 billion, even when the number of households has grown. This means fewer letters are being delivered to more addresses. So it's time for us to seriously, but hold on, all I'm saying is it's time for us to seriously consider privatization, because those losses are not sustainable. And even CTV News in the video I just showed was saying that they can't compete with the private sector. Why can't they compete with the private sector? Because the fucking government is not useful in those type of situations. They don't run businesses properly. They can't even turn a profit with Via Rail when they're basically the only fucking train system in Canada. They can't even turn a fucking profit. Governments cannot operate anything. Never forget, guys, the government doesn't make money. The only money that they get is through taxation. They don't put any value on money. I remember dealing with the federal. I dealt when I worked for the men. I worked with the federal, provincial, and municipal. And how many times was I told on the job that, hey guys, just come back in February. We'll know how much money we have left in our budget.
Well, yeah,
and because we don't want to lose our budgets, we're gonna buy some shit so that next year we have more money, not less, even though we don't need it. That's the government. So they're not efficient at anything. So
yeah, that's right. I mean, you don't want like that, and we've discussed crown corporations and the problem with them many times. The issue is private companies, or at least companies not owned by the government or not backstopped by the government. They don't have to. They have to turn a profit. They have to make disciplined business decisions based on the actual market conditions. Crown corporations live in a fantasy world where they don't have to actually factor in market conditions. They can just give bonuses to whoever wants them because they know if they run into a loss, government's going to backstop it. And that's me and you. So it's incompetence and inefficiency is built into the model. And that's why, I agree with, mail is one of those things, like it does provide a service. You do have to make sure that all Canadians have access to mail. And private companies generally are not going to, it's going to be prohibitively expensive to send packages to, the most remote parts of the country. And so I kind of see then where government has a role to play with the Canada Post crown corporations, but all the other ones like Via Rail, like why does that need to be a crown corporation? Cut it free. And if they sink, they sink. That's the market.
Here's a great comment. I don't remember ever seeing you before today, David, so welcome aboard. I'm a 30-year retiree postie. I suspect that most do not want to strike. The CUPW union is a Marxist organization, and they use coercion and threats to force us out on strike. Their logo is a clenched, raised fist. And it's interesting you say that, because the announcement, the minister responsible for Canada Post made the announcement today. And I think it was within 2 to 3 hours of the announcement, Canada Post is already saying we're on strike. So there's no fucking way that that was put to a vote. So you might be right. So awesome for your comment. Good for you for letting us know, because you probably have something. You're probably, because I was just thinking, how the fuck did they ever get a vote in that fast? There's no way. There's no way that within 2 to 3 hours they had a union vote to say, are we going on strike or not? I have a big problem with unions personally. I think they're a sham. I think they're a scam. It seems that most of the time, all they do, just like the federal government, they bloat everything. They make everything bigger, convoluted, very expensive. And those guys don't want to lose their jobs. So they have to make you believe that you need them to be there to defend you.
Of course.
They have, like we've been saying with NATO. NATO's a hammer, and because it has nothing to do right now, it looks for nails.
Well, sure,
that's it. And I see unions the same way. They're looking at trying to find problems so that they're needed, so that they can make you believe that you need them. That's it. You just need them.
On unions, I kind of feel like I'm sitting where I often am on this show, to the left of you, but to the right of the political left or the mainstream left. But I differentiate between public sector and private sector unions. I don't think government jobs need a union. And for the same reason and mechanism as a crown corporation thing, they can demand whatever they want, and government will give it to them. They're not incentivized to actually negotiate. And when the public sector union gets a good deal, that means by definition the government got a bad deal, and we got screwed. Bad deals, and we're the government, right? That's our money. So but as far as private companies go, I think they're necessary for some of these like major, super powerful, billion-dollar corporations to have any power in any negotiation. But
not this one, not for the government. I totally agree.
Not public sector. No, I draw a distinct line between those two.
There's a couple of comments I want to take before we get to the next one. Wise Guy saying, same here, Nico, and they will keep putting my mail in the wrong box. If I didn't live in such a small village, my packages would be gone for good, but the people here bring it right to the, I used to live in a place like that. I had my Amazon package dropped at wrong places, and people would leave it there, or they just bring it back. Like, that's how it's found.
High trust.
But that, but some it's normally normally communities that all have guns, so you never know who the fuck you're fucking with, so people don't mess around. Details tattoo, what's going on, Dan? Sending art prints is a fucking headache in this country. They don't take care of your package. The fragile sticker does not work.
Do you send with Canada Post, Dan?
That's a good question, Dan. If you want to answer that question, I don't know, but
the private companies.
Just so you guys know, every time I see a comment from him, I have to give him credit, because all the tattoos you see, like basically everything I have on me is
all from
him? That's the guy that's my bro tattoo guy right there. The only one he didn't do is this one, and I want to go see him so he can fix it, because it's not to the level of him. Yeah, I want some colors. He's an artist. That's why he's saying his art print, because
you showed me his Instagram page, and I agree. It was really like quality work.
Like that phoenix you have on your neck wouldn't look like a penis if Dan did it. I'm just saying.
No, man, the guy I did it, he's so good. He's really, really good at realism. I mean, this isn't even that complex, but some of the stuff he does is, I don't know. Dan's work is in that caliber as well. Just some
he has a very particular style. Yeah. If you look at his style, but one thing I gotta say, like, you look at the colors of this one. This is 10 years old, if not more.
Oh, nice.
And the colors just stayed. Like, he's very good at colors. He's very he's an artist. Yeah, that's why he's saying he paints. I think he does little wood sculptures too. Like, he's un artiste.
Well,
And he's saying that he does use Canada Post, by the way. He uses Canada Post and Pure Later. And he's saying...
Do you notice the difference between the two?
This is, I'm ready to redo my hand. Of course you are, bro. It's just a matter of time. I just need to go to Gatineau. I just need to go to Ottawa and get my hand fixed. But yeah, nobody else is going to touch that hand, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that... well, yeah, did you notice the difference between the two, between the Pure Later and the Canada Post? I'd be interested to hear about that. And even the price. Is Canada Post usually cheaper? Or, I mean, even if it is, it's only cheaper because we're subsidizing that.
This is a very interesting subject. I spent, I would say, about an hour and a half on the phone on a call today about the ostriches. I don't know if you call that a whistleblower, but I've learned some stuff today and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with the information. I don't know if I want to share the information. It's fucked. It's really fucked what I heard, and the guy had all the proof in the world. So he sent me all of his proof. I was with somebody else on the call, and I don't know what to do with it. But there's something behind. I'm just going to say this. There is something behind the ostriches. It's not as clean as it seems. I'll just say that.
Oh, and it doesn't even seem clean.
No, but the thing is, there's more that meets the eyes.
What's the like
on both? All I'm saying is that there
sides.
seems allegedly. I haven't dug it. I haven't done my research on it yet. But all I'm saying is I spent about an hour and a half on the phone on a call today with him and another journalist. And both of us are like, oh, motherfucker, what are we supposed to do with this now?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I got to research it more because I don't.
Well, they're not ostriches at all. They identify as emus.
Yeah.
You were never ostriches. You lied to me. They peel back up there. It says Universal Ostrich Farm. They like peel it back. It says emu underneath. No.
Yeah, exactly. They were made in China. Mr. Doctor is saying blow the whistle. I can't blow the whistle until, because somebody provides me information doesn't mean it's true. I don't trust anybody. So I will do the research. I have all the stuff. I just need to sit down, go through it, but I don't know what to, as it stands right now, all I'm going to say, I was like, fuck off. Can you not? I didn't need this shit in my life. That's all I'm going to say. I did not need to be hated more than I already am. I don't need this shit in my life.
Dasso says, bro, the septum ring. I seen that right. Yeah, I don't really wear much anymore. I put it in earlier. I just forgot to take it. I just wanted to see if if it had grown over. And then usually I forgot to take it out. I was actually noticing.
Because Dassos, it's normally lower. It's also a cock ring. I'm just saying. What is it called? The Prince Albert? I think it's called the Prince Albert. Yeah. How the fuck do I know that? But it's called...
I've got one. I don't know. I just like piercing my body with metal needles.
That has to be. Did you get it done by a woman or by a dude?
No, it was a girl. It was a girl. It was actually no, you're wrong. It was a dude that did the first one, and then it did grow over like 10 years ago, and I got it redone. And that was a girl. It's
man, this is.
It was
I
painful.
remember.
It was painful.
Who the fuck cares about you? If I'm a piercer, I'm not touching your fucking dick.
Well, I obviously asked them. I was like, bro. I mean, it's like a doctor. Doctors fucking touch your dick sometimes.
Hey, oh yeah, hey Dan. No.
As soon as I said that, I was like, I should not. Should not have said that.
No, that's funny. Good for you. I'm pretty sure I had that conversation with Dan at one point, because you know when you have as much ink as I do, you spend a lot of time just laying there getting tortured. So you do have a lot of conversations with your tattoo guy. And I remember asking Dan if he'd tattoo a dick, and he's like, yeah, no, fuck no. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Yeah, so I don't know, Dan. I haven't seen you in a little while. So
tattooing, you gotta like hold it in your hand for long periods of time. For me, buddy, just like he had gloves on, he just like picked his finger up and went. Bloop.
At least you're honest. Like you just.
No, it was more like he had his assistant holding it like this. He comes out with the needle.
All right. Bro, I'm gonna need more hands.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, we see you in the background. God damn, that's a weird place for you to come in. You chose a really fucked up moment to come in. We're talking about cock rings. Sorry, bro.
Just take this last comment. Logan says, "Why the fuck would you pierce your cock, you crazy motherfucker?" Just for that reason. Just because I don't know. I always like piercings that other people be like, "Why would you get that?" Also, there were sex reasons and actually I would recommend it for that. Increased friction on surface area, and that's all I'll say about that.
See, Dan has not changed. I remember that conversation. Fuck no, I'm still not doing it.
Yeah,
I agree, man. Because I heard some horror stories where people show up to get tattooed in the groin area and they're not even shaved. So Dan is stuck shaving.
Oh, so shave some. Just move those balls over here. Let me get that taint.
gotta save the taint. Oh Jesus! Welcome to the Political Orphans. If it's your first time here, we do have some fucked up conversation and some rabbit holes. But yeah,
there's some rabbit holes. Logan White says second reason bullshit. Yeah, no, for real. Now, obviously, I've had lots of people be like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to take that out," and no worries. But there are some people who like it. A lot of people, surprisingly.
Oh, guys are into some really fucked up shit, so I'm not surprised. You're the one saying people. You're not even saying girls. So I'm kind of.
I took that. I took that to be self-evident. I was talking about women. It just feels. Bro, I don't know. It feels sleazy to talk about women or girls like that.
You're a liberal, bro. We don't take anything for granted. Everything goes with liberals.
Yeah.
So don't give me this man, girl. It's the weekend. I don't care.
I assumed it was obvious. No, sir. No,
says the guy with a pink shirt. Yeah, sure. It's obvious. Yeah,
that's
we
right.
agree. It's obvious. It's obvious. Jason. So as we said earlier, we will try to become more serious for a second. We were doing pretty good until that moment.
Yeah.
I passed a dumb comment that's like, it's not like you have one in your dick. Actually, I do.
Well, yeah, you brought us there, brother.
Oops. Yeah, well, our rabbit holes have rabbit holes. So since Jason's already here, he's a guy that is damn punctual, and I respect that. So let's bring him in. Before we do, Jason is from Wiretap Media. He's here to talk about the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. Jason, what's going on, bro?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you, Rob.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you. How is everything?
Oh, it's been going good. I'm in the middle of a move. Finally moved this weekend, so it's been a bit crazy. But we been just got back to the grind all week. We
nice.
Kind of interested in this conversation because I was telling Nico this is the first time I had heard about this group on Saturday night when we did that mashup, and
wow,
I found it pretty interesting.
Oh wow.
Hi, Jason. Not that you give a fuck, but how nice seeing you too, asshole.
Yeah. No, hey,
so I guess Jason's visit's gonna be very short today. So fuck you. No, great, good to see you, bro.
Our guests like me better. You're don't be mad. Don't be a hater.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not a hater, man. I don't question his taste.
Yeah.
He heard you had a cock ring and he's like, God damn, that's my type of guy. That's my type of guy. So I swear, Jason, we're serious.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I swear. Hey, listen, I like
swear.
to have a laugh too. I'm not always serious, you know.
Yes.
The reason I wanted to bring you up is because I saw an article this week by Blacklock's reporter, kind of tied up, and I think that's when I reached out to you because I asked you if she was indeed. So the woman you're seeing on screen is Amara El Gwabi. She's basically the special envoy to the federal government for Islamophobia. So she's making like $200,000 a year to tell us how fucking racist we are. That's basically her job. But what I did not know that Blacklock's reporter's report is saying is that she also is one of the co-founders of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. And what I found to be interesting is I did a bit of research, and turns out that since 2020, that group has received about $1 million just from the federal government. That's not other funds. It's literally super easy to find. I can show you guys the actual, it's all heritage. It's Monsieur Guilbeault, that fucking twat that wants to bring Bill C-63 back. He's the same twat that's been giving her money. But what I found to be very interesting is that not only is she looking for, that group is looking for journalists to supply media with news about critiquing the far right. She has done that in the past through one of the grants that they received from the government was to investigate the far right media. They got like 200 or 250 grand to research them. So that's why I wanted you on the show to explain for the people out there that are like Rob and like me, like I've heard of them before, but I never took the time to actually research them properly. So can you explain to us what is the Canadian Anti-Hate Network and why should we be worried about it?
You pretty well, you did a pretty good job.
Okay, well, bye, Jason. Thank you. Nice to have you on, bro.
Well, you did a good job of outlining what their mandate is. Their mandate is to, investigate the far right or infiltrate these alleged neo-Nazi groups. And I guess they're supposed to give information back to law enforcement, government officials. They've had impacts. They were part of the gun legislation laws. They've added to like our hate speech and our hate crime laws. So they're pretty intertwined. Now, what people don't know is Bernie Farber, the chair of the organization. He actually used to be he ran under the Liberal Party as a member of the Liberal Party, and he obviously didn't win, and then he started this organization. Now, what's really interesting that I find interesting about this is Bernie Farber is the president of the Jewish Congress, and he worked with that girl that you brought up.
Amira El-Gawabi.
Amira.
Yeah,
well,
Amira. Yeah.
What's interesting is they work together to, bring Islam to Canada. And now what's happening is the Jewish communities are being attacked, and there's an influx of hate crimes in the Jewish communities because we have more Muslims, and they're blaming it on the far right or white supremacy. And what makes these people dangerous is that they're very they're not accurate in their reporting, and they're not reliable. So I don't know if you guys heard of Carmen Said. She's that street journalist that kind of tracks all of these protests, and
she's a black girl, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I actually I was just
yeah.
chatting with her on Instagram. I just
really?
reached out to her just to say great work you're doing. She responded to me earlier today, so I actually quite like her. She's a bit too liberal for my taste, but she does real investigating work. She does a good job. I like her.
Yeah. So she wrote a report about it's called the Hategate Affair, and this happened when Jeremy McKenzie was arrested after the Freedom Convoy, and he was rung up on a string of charges, gun charges, everything. Mm-hmm. But all that intel was actually coming from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, and they had no proof that any of it existed. So they locked Jeremy up into a massive legal battle where, and obviously Jeremy, he's a very controversial dude. There's no doubt about it. He definitely puts himself in his own positions, but at the same time, the way they kind of exaggerated, the group Diagolon as just like something that was a running joke between friends, and created this neo-Nazi organization. And this is where it ties back into the Freedom Convoy. So what people don't understand is when Marco Mendicino said that there's this far right neo-Nazi movement with leaders in Ottawa, they were talking about Diagolon. And like, so for over a year, it was suspected that these kids who were locked up in Coots were part of this organization. They were held without bail, put through some pretty shitty stuff. And then, obviously we know the outcome of that. But when Jeremy, through Jeremy's legal process, he was able to get his hands on ATIPs from the RCMP, and he pulled all communications between the RCMP. Well, what they discovered is that the Canadian Anti-Hate Network was the main source of all of the disinformation about the people at the Freedom Convoy, about them all being Nazis, about it being about hate, about people spitting on people, about like all the negative stuff. So everything, the RCMP brought this triangle back right to the Anti-Hate Network, and they had no sources or no identifiable evidence to prove what they were saying was true. So they basically created a psyop in news media because news media sees them as an expert because the government funds them as experts. And then the government was even using their information at the House of Commons, right? Because let's face it, we rely on our news media to be honest with us. So that's what's interesting. So when Marco Mendicino on the 15th, he said that there's this far right group that they were talking about Diagolon, but the RCMP in those reports, they already said like they're not an armed militia. They're not a terrorist organization. They don't even have an organization, a structure. They're just a bunch of idiots goofing off online. That's pretty much what they summed it up to. And then they even stated that Bernie Farber, the chair of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, was more or less an inflammatory liar. And they were quite concerned how much influence he had on political figures, the media, and even law enforcement officials. So, and this is what's interesting is now we're seeing that they are connected to Antifa. They were found in a courtroom to be connected to Antifa. And so what happened there was Richard Warman sued Jonathan Kay for saying that the Canadian Anti-Hate Network assisted Antifa and that Antifa was a violent movement. Well, they defended and they won. And the judge found that Canadian Anti-Hate Network is tied to Antifa and they do act in violence. So now that they're deemed a terrorist organization, we see all of our political figures in Ottawa completely denying their existence. They're, Right Blend and Daisy Media was up there all last week asking them, do you know who the Canadian Anti-Hate Network is? Do you know who they are? And they're just like either ignoring it or saying they didn't know who they were. And even Marco Mendicino was caught in the street. And he's had meetings with the organization. And keep in mind, these people even testified in Parliament for gun legislation. They testified in committee for hate speech. They were brought in on Islamophobia. They were brought. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just, I don't mean to interrupt. I had a question though. Is this Canadian anti-hate group, does it ever go against what might be perceived as left-wing?
No,
hate?
they solely
against anti-Semitism on the left or anything?
No, they focus solely on the right wing. So while Bernie Farber says in Parliament, he says that they're nonpartisan and they're a private organization.
So they're not even government.
Yeah,
They are
government
funded by the government.
They are funded.
So like an NGO kind of thing.
Yeah. They are funded by the government, but they deny that they're nonpartisan,
independent, or they claim to be nonpartisan.
Yeah,
it's like CBC saying that they're unbiased when they're funded by the Liberals at $1.4 billion every year.
And just to show, like, so these hate speech laws, and why it's important and why people should know is, I just did a post tonight, and you guys could look at it after, but so their legal counsel, Richard Warman, he's a very interesting character. So back in the 2010s, like, you know, in the 2000s, he actually worked for the Human Rights Commission when Section 13 was part of the charter. Well, he was found to abuse Section 13 because what him and a group of his buddies at the Human Rights Commission were doing is they were actually posing as neo-Nazis and going into chat forums and baiting people into like derogatory commentary, all this kind of stuff. And then they would fucking bring a claim against them in the Human Rights Council. And then Richard Warman would act as both the legal counsel and the witness in his own case. Now, the RCMP, when they caught wind of this scam going on by people at the commission, they investigated them, and they found out that it was alleged that I want to be careful when I say that, because Richard sues everybody on a whim. But it was alleged that Richard and his group were actually hacking civilian IP addresses so that these scams that they were running didn't trace back to the Human Rights Commission. Now, if we look at what the Canadian Anti-Hate Network does, they do the same exact thing. They have a mob of followers that pose as neo-Nazis, and they infiltrate groups. So when they sit there and say, oh, well, you look at the Yellow Vest movement, you could go through their social media and they had Islamophobic posts, racist posts. Well, how many of those were people from the Canadian Anti-Hate Network that were creating those posts, driving up hate speech online in order to push the Liberals' legislation to show, like, this is the proof?
Well,
we'll never know.
It's like,
right?
they say there's much more demand for racism than supply, right? So a lot of these anti-racist NGOs, because they need racism, right? They need there to be a perception that racism is out of control.
That's right. Yeah.
To justify their existence. So you get some really perverse incentives here with these kind of groups, because they're claiming that they're fighting something, but they need that thing to survive. So it's certainly worth asking, do these groups, do they actually perpetuate the thing that they're supposed to be fighting against? And I think in many cases, the answer is yes.
Yeah. And what's interesting too is, like, if you listen to Evan Balgord speak in all of his interviews, he is more or less depicting exactly what has happened to the left. Like, he talks about how the right, they're like snowballing into this larger group, and they co-opt this movement, they co-opt that movement. And then now we watch, like, and then they get violent. And then, and then now what we're watching is, we just watched the Hold the Line protest on the weekend, right? And that was a group of 15 organizations, from climate change, migrant justice, all these different organizations that came together and brought one big protest to Toronto and Ottawa and Vancouver and across the country. So, like, if we're looking at this, and now what's happened is the Antifadas, or the Palestinian movement, that's now been co-opted by the Revolutionary Communist Party in Canada and by Antifa. And there's a close association between Antifa and the Revolutionary Communist Party. And so I've been told in the past, when you signed up to the Canadian Anti-Hate Network's their newsletter, they used to give you a link to the Revolutionary Communist website. I can't confirm if that's true, because when I signed up, I didn't get that link. But there are people that said that in the past, they used to redirect people over to the Revolutionary Communist Party. And if you look at their ideology, it's very aligned with communism, right? And you look, they're tied in with worker unions. So what they do is they've now created like a pyramid structure where they have smaller anti-hate groups underneath them that are localized, and it's called Community Solidarity Ottawa or Canada. And then they have chapters all over the country, and then those chapters then go out and get smaller organizations like, the Ukrainian community, or this community, that the Mormons, the this, the that. And what they do is they get them to sign a declaration that they're going to be part of this anti-hate movement. And then that's how they co-opt people within those organizations to come out and protest. Now, what's interesting is during the Islamophobia M103, Evan Balgord basically put out a dog whistle asking the government for funding to create protests. So these organizations could, like he said something like, we get all kinds of money and we put it towards research and all this kind of stuff. He's like, but that's not radical enough. We need to be on the streets. We need to be out there counter protesting against these people. And like, we should start putting funds towards that. So, and then he called it a pro-democracy movement. And he said that our organic grassroots movements were anti-democracy. Well, if you look at that, that is the complete opposite of what pro-democracy means, right? Pro-democracy is from grassroots movements. It's from populist movements. That's how democracy works. It's not from paying disenfranchised people in society who need a couple of $100 to go out and hold a sign and scream "fuck you" at people, right?
Well, there's a couple of things. So what you're seeing on screen right now, I registered as you were speaking. I went to the Canadian Hate Speech Network because I want to know what type of bullshit they're spewing. So I gave them my popular email address that I give to pretty much everybody. And there's no mention of that, but they just say that they are in the defense of targeting for systemic or individual harm or injustice. That we are Canada's only watchdog organization focused on far right movements that harbor racism in other form of
on far right, or they say so.
But hold on, let me read it. But that's their thing. That's what they do. There's no shame in there. That's what they're getting paid. You can see that
they're getting our tax dollars for that.
Yes. So here's what they say. We are Canada's only watchdog organization focused on far right movements that harbor racism and other form of hate that are incompatible with our multicultural democracy. We are an independent, bullshit, funded by the government, anti-fascist and anti-racist non-profit. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because I have heard that in the past, I do not know if it's accurate, so maybe you know. But one of the things that worries me about the Canadian anti-hate crime organization is that I've heard that there was a connection between them and the Muslim Brotherhood, the National Guard of Canadian Muslims, the Association of Canada, and Islamic Relief Canada. So they seem to be connected with a lot of Muslims organization. This is what I've heard. I've done a bit of research prior to the show to see, and it seems to be accurate. From what I can find without digging for hours and hours and hours, there seems to be connection with the Muslim Brotherhood, that's fucking insane because they're extremely powerful in Europe. And I believe that it is accurate that they are connected to the National Council of Canadian Muslim, Association of Canada, and Islamic Relief Canada. So do you know if that's correct or not?
I haven't, I personally have not been able to confirm that. I've also heard that rumors. But what's interesting about that is like they're all Jewish at the Canadian Anti-Hate Network.
So wouldn't they go after anti-Semitism?
Bernie Farber's Jewish, Evan Balgord's Jewish, Warman's Jewish. They're like a lot of now the original 15 founders, they hide a lot of the founders. But if you look at some of the ones you can like Warren Kinsella or whatever his name is, I believe he's Jewish. So like ask yourself, you know, so when Jeremy Mackenzie made that quote that like basically the Jews are opening the fence for the wolves to come in, that's what he was talking about.
I mean,
Like,
I don't know. It's funny. The only thing I know about Jeremy Kimmel, I served in Afghanistan with him. I had no idea he had any sort of online presence until I started doing the show, and I heard people
yeah,
talk about Jeremy Kimmel. I was like, is he ex-soldier served in Afghanistan? Yeah, okay, because I served with him. But I don't actually know any of the backstory. I don't really know sort of any of it. So yeah, you'd have to give a little bit of context.
okay, so what happened with Jeremy is what landed on the Canadian anti-hate or cons radar
Yep.
is when they had that you remember that child soldier that they paid out 10 million to?
Qatar.
Yeah, we
Qatar.
talked about him not too long ago,
Okay.
like a month ago or so.
So
Yeah,
he did
$10 million, and now he bought a strip mall somewhere in Alberta, if I remember correctly.
He did.
yeah. So he actually he was speaking in Nova Scotia, and Jeremy felt like it was his duty to go speak his mind at that event.
Okay.
And like he went viral. What he said, he was pretty, this is a war vet, right?
Sure,
This
of
is the
course.
guy that,
Well,
to his account and, to eyewitnesses, he pulled one of his buddies like foot out of a boot, like his, it's like, so he's experienced this at a level people don't understand. And he went there and he spoke his mind, and the Canadian because he went viral, he landed on the Canadian anti-hate's radar. And Jeremy, he's a very smart guy, and but he's very expressive. He'll tell you he's racist. He won't have an issue with that. But in the beginning, this is what's interesting. In the beginning, he'd probably be no different than you guys the way he was. But then as the anti-hate network kept on pushing him,
kind of radicalized him.
Yeah, they kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And then they got him locked up for 6 months. And he had to spend.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got him locked up. He had to spend like
for?
something like $500,000 in legal defenses, like fighting 30 different charges in court.
Related to what?
Well, they kept on saying that he was he was the leader of an armed militia, and that he had restricted firearms, and they kept on putting in all these reports with the RCMP, and then like they started clipping it just like they do to Charlie Kirk, right? They clip down parts of what he says instead of the whole thing, and then they send the derogatory stuff, they leave out the context.
Mm-hmm.
And then it made him look like a fucking, and he is anti-government, but to
they thought he looked like an anti-government extremist kind of thing.
Yeah. So then,
type.
Yeah. So then he had to hire a lawyer, and he hired a lawyer. He beat all the charges, and, and then through that is where we got this documentation, and we got we got to share it with the world. And what's interesting, this is what makes the Canadian Anti-Hate Network and Rachel Gilmore despicable people, is they're still using testimony from the POEC, the Public Order Emergency Commission, where the OPP officer who didn't have access to the RCMP intelligence, where they already deemed Aguilon not a threat, he said that they were a violent armed militia in that testimony. Well, then a year later, when Jeremy's legal stuff's all done, he's out of jail, he's done dealing with all the bullshit. Well, then he releases the files, and it was public. There's a massive investigative report done by Carmen Saeed. Okay. And you guys need to read that, because I don't want to quote things inaccurately, but there's another member of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network who actually stole a girl's identity, Elisa Hadigan's identity. And she is now claiming that she was the one that took down the Heritage Front in the 90s. And Bernie Farber has played into this story and created this story around her, when in fact it was Elisa Hannigan, one of the journalists, that wrote that story with Carmen. You guys have to read it, man.
This is wild.
It sounds fucking crazy, man. I thought it was crazy too.
But it doesn't.
I read it,
but it doesn't sound crazy to me.
The proof is there. So Elisa Hannigan was the female face of the Heritage Front back in the 90s. And then Grant Bristow was close to Bernie Farber. Grant Bristow was a CSIS agent. He's the one that toppled that whole organization. They were a white supremacist organization. And there's court documents of Elisa testifying in court, but they didn't give her protection. They just basically put her back out on the streets. So she ran in fear for her life, changed her name, went out to Nova Scotia, and like worked a shitty job, eventually got her education. And like when she came back to reality, and she came back to society, so to speak, she found out that Bernie Farber put this Susan girl in her place as the individual that represents the Heritage Front. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a massive psyop.
But it doesn't surprise me at all, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what the government does. They use outside groups to do their bidding, and that's all I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
I don't know enough on Jeremy McKenzie to address it, nor is it something I want to touch with a 10-foot pole, as I don't know the guy, I don't know the story. All I know is that the National Council of Canadian Muslims, the Canada Anti-Hate Crime, is receiving money, our taxpayers' money, to investigate guys like me. That's basically what they're paid for. So it's a matter of time before they get people like us to be on their radar. And I don't really care. That doesn't worry me at all. But all I'm saying is the problem with this, though, is that the people out there don't realize, and unfortunately, McKenzie has a bad rap, right?
Yeah,
he's been portrayed, again, like I said, I don't know the guy. I don't know what he stands for. I've never met the guy. I don't have an opinion on him as a person. I just don't know the guy. But if you look at what's being said about him, he's being painted in a very bad image, and it's because of the Canadian anti-hate crime. And the whole point I'm trying to make is that if they're capable of doing that to him, they can do that to me. They can do that to you. They can do that to anybody out there, especially if they're getting funded by the federal government to investigate people like me in the first place. So this is the problem, and we don't have a lot of time left. So I want to ask you a question. If we assume that everything that you said is accurate, what can we do? What do you think we need to do in order to fight back an organization like that? Because as you said, I can find links to Muslims group and like the Muslim Brotherhood. I need to find more links, but considering that they portray themselves as being Jewish, yet we know that the founding fathers, the founders were not necessarily Jewish at all. We have the example of what was it, Admira? Wasn't it that Mira? I just want to be accurate here. Yeah, Amira, that is a Muslim, obviously. What can we do against organizations like that are being funded by the government to expose them?
So what I've come to realize is like we have to get as organized as they are to combat it, and we have to unite as individuals who are critical thinkers and can look at information and decipher it for what it is. You know, you don't have to take my word on anything I said, but I recommend that you do your research and educate yourself. For the last 3 weeks, I've been posting about these guys. You guys can go look for yourself on my page, but you can cross-reference it and confirm it yourself. But what I think we need to do as a group is we need to drop this left-right label, and we have to come together and look at this as we are in a war we've never experienced before. You know, we understand war as hot wars, like wars on the ground, wars fought in deserts, these sorts of things. But this is fifth generational warfare, and there's a lot of psychological warfare happening. There's spiritual warfare happening. There's everything across the board. And we have to bring a community of people together that have a set of skills to work as a collective instead of individuals. And once we achieve that, then that's what makes them successful. That's what makes this communist regime that's happening so successful. They work collectively for the same goal. We need to start doing that. We have to quit being individualists, a personalities. We have to put our egos aside and start like, what's your strengths? What's your strengths? What's your strengths? And we bring those strengths together and we build something that can combat it. That's what my solution would be.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate your time. I appreciate it. Was cool meeting you last week. Nice for you to be on the show. We'll talk again because I'm sure I need to do more research on my side.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look at some of that stuff as well.
Yeah,
those are the type of people that I will create videos about and call them out directly. Those type of people don't worry me whatsoever. They can all suck a dick. They're taking my own money to investigate me, to making me look bad. All you deserve is to be exposed for what you do. So let's talk more. Let's talk offline and try to figure out what we can do, because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of Bill C2. I'm not a fan of Bill C9. I'm not a fan of the new Bill C63 that they're pushing down our throat. So everywhere I look, I'm seeing censorship, and I'm seeing people going after conservative values. And unfortunately, our conservative party in Canada are not fucking conservative. They're liberals. Like they'd be Democrats in the US. They're not fucking Republican. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So we have nobody in Parliament that's fighting for conservative values. We have zero. So if something needs to change, it's going to have to be us with an audience that starts standing up and saying, exposing those people. So let's talk more to try to figure out what we can do. But man, I really appreciate your time. It was nice meeting you last week. And
yeah, it was great.
We'll talk some more, brother. We'll talk some more.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for being here, man.
We'll definitely have you back on.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
You too, brother.
Take care.
So there you have it, man.
Interesting.
This is something I wasn't aware of until he brought it up last week. I did a bit of research, and I don't like what I see. I really, really do not like what I see. So those are.
I don't want partisan groups from either side being paid by our tax to dig up dirt on citizens.
100%, man. 100%. It's not right, and they're protected. Like you got Rachel Gilmore that they talked about,
and that shouldn't be
the fucking twat that went out there and starting accusing Charlie Kirk's supporters to be a violent mob of people that were just waiting for somebody like him to die so that they became violent. What the fuck happened since then, you dumb cunt? Nothing, because peace is on our side, not yours. You're the one that uses violence. Andrew Scheer calls her out. She goes in hiding, plays the victim, went on Tout le monde en parle. She went on the biggest fucking radio Canada program.
The biggest, all right.
But did you see her getting ripped? Did you see her getting?
Yeah, she's huge.
No. She posted about going on Tout le monde en parle, the biggest show in Quebec that is paid by your taxpayers' money. It's under CBC.
All right.
Her comment on her own page, oh bro, everybody's calling her fat. Like, wow, your TikTok filters do work very well. You couldn't cheat those ones, could you? And they're just like going on and on and on.
Unlikable. If she wasn't that unlikable, nobody would just pile on her like that about that. But she's so unlikable.
But it's just all to say that she is part of the people on the left that always regurgitate exactly the same thing that others on the left are saying. So like Jason was just saying, if we want to compete with them, we need to stand together. The people that don't like what's going on, we need to put our ego aside and just say we need to have a strategy to go after them, because the reason they're so successful is they band together, and you see it by their post. You can go when something happens, like look at Charlie Kirk was a perfect example. Go everybody on the woke left, they're pretty much saying the same thing. So you know that they have a massive email. They probably have a massive email list somewhere, and there's people in front of that email list, and they're just, hey guys, this is what's going on. This is the type of message that we want out there. So sauce it the way you want. So like flavor it, cook it the way it's going to sound like you. But here's the message we want to disseminate out there. Because every single time something happens, they all have a message that is very, very clearly the same, but it's been spinned a tiny bit different so that it's not word for word. It would have one's flavor compared to the other, but the root is the actual same. I think Jason is bang on. That's the only way we can actually go after, defend ourselves. And too many sheeples on fucking fire today. 5 subscription.
Great show, guys.
$10 tip.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate that.
We'll finish on this, but that is all Rob needs to show his cock rings, about $10. That's what it costs. So
yeah,
there
you
go.
All it costs. Yeah.
You get a pick from Rob tonight.
Yeah, you're getting it whether you want it or not. Logan,
but great show, man. It was a great show, man.
Yeah, it was a good show. Will says great show, guys. Yeah, no, it was. Guys, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is basically it. Really. We get great guests on the show. We have great conversations, heavily audience engagement based. So remember to tune in. Oh no, we're not on tomorrow.
Nope.
On Sunday night, remember to tune in and get those comments in. Like you saw
Saturday we got a mashup. So if you're interested in a late night show, myself and Jason Levine have a bunch of guests that we show up.
I'll see it. Basically, if I'm settled in Halifax, because I'm moving.
Just let me know. Yep. Just let me know, because we always want to have a leftist. I'm gonna start inviting Jason D from the US too. When it makes sense. Oh, it's that type of stuff too. But guys, on Saturday night, 9 to 11 Eastern time, we have a mashup. We have a bunch of people that show up. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. But all to say that it's always interesting because we do talk about the real shit, and it's late night show like this show, so. People swear. People you've never heard swear are gonna swear on there.
Yeah, you'll get.
Then you have people. You have like people like Tiana that shows up and fucking rip us all.
Machine gun want.
Yeah. So it's laid back. It's serious stuff that we talk about, but we're laid back. But the whole point is to expose you to some of the biggest content creators out there, the biggest journalists, the biggest impacts that we have in Canada, to put them on a platform together where we can actually address some problems. And
I like the format of like everyone getting their 2 or 3 minute rant.
But there's an episode, the second episode, we talked about the death penalty for pedophiles, and I actually learned something. Both Jason and I afterwards were like, fuck, I was pro death penalty. And Jeff Evely is like, are you sure that's what you want your government to be able to kill you legally? And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't like my government. So, damn, fuck you, Jeff Evely.
I don't like having to change my mind.
No, but it was good. That's my point, right? I've had conversation with people where you're just open about something and you're like, damn, you're actually making a valid point.
That's a good point.
So, it was a good show, guys.
That's what's great about this show is sooner or later you might hear something that might change your mind. Not to tap ourselves on the back a little bit too much. Yeah. In our arms. Guys, if you want to support the show, of course, share the stream. That's really the low-hanging fruit. You should have already done that by now. You can also consider becoming a member for the low price of $2.99 per month, or buying us a coffee, as Sheeple, Too Many Sheeple just did. He actually bought us several coffees. But other than that, folks, have a great weekend. We will catch you Saturday night for the mashup, and then back to our regularly scheduled programming Sunday night at 8 Eastern. Be safe.
Peace.
Peace.